Good morning, everyone. My name is Julie. I am the owner and founder of Lady Falte. You are either watching this video on my Facebook group or my YouTube channel, which is Lady Falte Light Healing. You can certainly subscribe to the YouTube channel to get notifications of new videos, or you can go ahead and join the group to see all the posts and the website and things that are for sale, and lots of information there, lots of photo albums with different information. Try to make it as resourceful as I possibly can for everyone. So thanks for watching. If you're watching now or watching later, well, whenever you're watching it, it is now, right? But if you're not watching me live and you're watching the replay, thank you. Going to today talk a little bit about just the turning of the seasons. I had originally planned on talking about Mabon this morning, and then I got thinking about it, and I did a Mabon video. Sorry, I got to pop up right in the middle of the friggin' screen here. I had originally planned on doing the video about Mabon, but then I remembered that I did a video last year on Mabon, and even though I still want to do a video this year on it, I don't want it to just necessarily be a repeat. So I wanted to take some time and go back and actually watch that video so that I'm not making like a repeat video. There probably will be some stuff that will be repeated in it, but I don't want it to be basically like a whole repeat of a video that I've already made. So I'm going to go back and watch that one, and then we'll talk about that one probably next week. And next week we're going to talk about Virgo as well. So those are the two topics for next week. So like I said, I had planned on talking about Mabon and then changed my mind. And then last night I decided I was going to talk about spirit animals. And then as I was sitting here and writing my notes and getting everything ready for the video, I realized that's not really what I was talking about either exactly. So it's kind of a weird morning. We're really just going to be kind of talking about just the changing of the seasons and kind of how all that means and stuff. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and pop on and invite some people. And then we're going to do our normal. We're going to smudge a little bit. We're going to pull a card. All the stuff that we like to do in the morning. So, and what I did the, I'm not sure if you guys saw it or not, but I know because my videos are really, really early in the morning and it's hard for people to hop on and watch. What I did Tuesday was I did a watch party, and I wasn't really sure. I'm still getting the hang of that because I couldn't figure out how to invite people when I was in the watch party. So if somebody knows how to do that, they can message me and tell me. I got to kind of learn as I'm going here. But I did have a couple people pop on, and they had some questions and comments, and I was there. I was watching live with them to respond. So that was kind of nice. But I was hoping to, I'm sure it'll take a few times for people to get used to it and stuff, but I was hoping to have a few more people in there, but it is what it is. And we'll, give it a try for a little bit longer and see what happens. Always willing to give stuff a try. Come on, antivirus stuff is just popping up everywhere. But yeah, so gonna do that again tonight. So at 7 o'clock tonight, which is Thursday, September 12th, because you could be watching this video in 6 months or 6 years, I guess. But I'm going to do that again tonight, live. Well, it's a replay watch party, but I will be on there live. It's kind of confusing. But yeah, I also, when I was watching the live, I realized a couple of things. I realized that when I do this and invite people, it's kind of noisy for you, that you can actually really pick up the sound of the tapping. So I'm trying to do it lightly. But then if you do it too late, the computer doesn't pick it up, and then you got to do it twice. And I'm trying to do it quickly so that it doesn't take up too much time here. But as the group gets bigger, this may just be something that I can't do in the morning. It'll just have to be something I'll have to figure out how to do it on the watch party and do it there instead of here in the morning, because as the group just keeps getting bigger and bigger, it is time consuming to invite everybody. So I know when I invite everybody like that in the morning that they're not going to be popping on live with me. My hope in the invite is that when they see that invite in their notifications, whatever time it may be, that they may go back and watch the video then. So just because I'm sending you an invite doesn't necessarily mean I expect you to drop what you're doing and join me right now. But I'm hoping at some point with the notification you would go back and watch the video. Iced tea this morning. All right, so we've done that. Like I said, I'm gonna go back tonight and do the watch party, and I will try to figure out how to invite people from there. I did it on my phone because I just sat on the couch and was answering questions and comments sitting over there on the couch. So maybe I have to do it on the computer to get easier access to invite people. I don't know. I'll figure it out. So let's just do a little smudge. Okay. Some for you guys. Some for me. I haven't been feeling well. I wasn't sure if it was just overtired. I haven't been sleeping well. Of course, there's the whole hormonal aspect of everything that's going on. But I saw a bunch of posts about people having the flu and stuff, so I was like, yeah, I hope that's not what I'm dealing with. But, and the other part is my own fault. I'm an adult. I'll own it. I'm supposed to take an allergy pill every day. I have really bad allergies. And I took my last one on Sunday and have not gone to the drugstore to refill my prescription. So a little stuffy and congested, and nobody to blame but myself for that. So we're gonna light our candle here. Get that going. All right, so we've smudged and we've got the candle going, and you guys can't see it, but my little fireplace is going over there for me. It was a little chilly this morning in here. Yeah, Tuesday morning was like 46 and freezing. And then yesterday morning, it was 64 and muggy. And this morning, it's like 54 and chilly. So, I don't know. Our weather, New England weather, is so much fun. So, and I know the time is off today because I had to switch schedules with my coworker. It's just been really kind of a crazy, hectic month. And it's unfortunately going to kind of continue through to the end of the month, and then hopefully things are going to settle down a little bit. We'll see what happens. That's the other thing. Watching the video back, I realized how many times I say So I am sorry for that. Didn't realize I said it that many times. It was like I was watching the video and I'm like, and I'm like, God, that's annoying. Oh, chakra card. Yeah, sorry. Squirrel. If you're new to the group and you're not familiar with me or my videos, I get very easily distracted. I forget things. I lose track of time. It's an issue. Okay, so last week we had pulled Sacred Gratitude, so we're going to put that back in. going to pull a card. Yeah, my phone's all even confused. Doesn't know what the hell I'm doing this morning. Oh, this guy wants to jump out here, so I'm going to take that card. Yeah, I have like 5 million alarms set on my phone because I forget things and because I lose track of time. But then when I have to change things up in the morning, like today I had to change my schedule around for my coworker, which was no big deal. But then I get really confused and my phone's like alarms are not in the right time and it's a little crazy. But anyway, so Sacred Serenity. You know, good note is it's purple, so we know it's going to go to our crown chakra. So, you know, good little tips. I've had a lot of people who are just starting to kind of get into crystal buying, and they're always like, well, I really don't know what the crystals do. And each crystal does have its own vibration, but you're pretty safe to go by the fact that you can go by the color and match it up to the chakra. And if you don't know the chakra colors, Google it. There's like a trillion pictures on Google for it. And, you know, you can just pick one that you like, that resonates with you. But that's just a really easy way to... I don't know if I have one here to here. I don't. I was going to grab one to show you the book. Oh, wait, maybe right here I have one. All right. It's a whole book on chakras. There's got to be a picture. Oh, I guess not. All about chakras, but there's not the actual chakra chart in here. Well, you can kind of see on the cover. It's not the greatest because it's kind of a watercolory look, but you can see as the colors go down, that's the crystal would be associated with the color of the chakra. And if you don't know the color of the chakra, like I said, you can just Google it. Or if you don't really know what the chakras mean, that's what we're going to talk about all next year. That's going to be a big part of what we talk about next year is the chakras. But again, if you are not really sure what's going on or where to start, just comment or send me a private message, whichever you're more comfortable with. We can kind of, you know, talk about some things. I'll ask you a couple of questions and see kind of, you know, where the best place is for you to start and what chakra that's related to and what crystals that you would be wanting to start with. So, a friend of mine is just really getting into crystals, and I'm so excited because she's excited, so I'm excited for her. And you know, she has said that she's really drawn to the rose quartz. So that would be heart healing chakra. So you can kind of figure out what's going on that way too. I've always liked the blue ones. I always like all the blue stones. Which is, you know, a couple of things. The blue stones are obviously the throat chakra. A lot of them are priestess stones. A lot of them are water representative stones. So those all kind of tie in to all the things that I like. But anyway, off track here. Sacred Serenity. Again, squirrel. Invite peace into this moment and let it permeate your entire being. Choose serenity, especially in moments of stress. Maybe this card was meant for me this week. Align with an energy stream of allowance and ease, where you allow everything to be simply as it is right now, without judgment or regret. Peace is your birthright. When you soften into serenity, you also give others permission to do the same. Become the living example of angelic peace that you wish to experience. And it is the crown chakra. The crystal associated with that is lepidolite. I do have some lepidolite. They're actually earrings, so they're in my bathroom. And the herb is St. John's wort, which I don't believe I have any St. John's wort. My crystal and herbal and essential oil collection is growing, but I'm going to run out of space way before I have everything that I want. Just the way it is. I told my husband the other night that I needed a she shed, a heated she shed, and that all my crystals and all my stuff and was going to go out there and I would have a space to do my videos, and I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I can put it on my bucket list though. All right, so to talk about what we're actually here to talk about today. Again, and I apologize. Oops, I just knocked over a perfume. Yeah, I have to spend some time on my space here because it's so overcrowded right now that it's very unorganized and very, it's messy. And I'm knocking stuff over and stuff's in the way. And I hung up some feathers the other day and then realized that I hung them over a candle. And I was like, well, that's probably not the smartest thing to do. So I got to spend a little bit of time on this space and get it cleaned up and picked up and whatever. All right, so like I said, I was going to talk about Mabon, and then I changed my mind and was going to talk about spirit animals. And then as I was writing all my notes down for spirit animal, I realized that I wasn't really writing notes for spirit animals. I was writing notes more for the change of the season. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, is changing from summer to autumn. And officially on the calendar, we haven't done that yet. That's coming right up. But most of us here in the northern part of the states, especially northern New Hampshire where I am, we have definitely seen the change of autumn coming. Our leaves are already changing colors. It is definitely very cold in the morning. The briskness to the air is definitely there. So the signs of autumn are definitely popping their heads out. So there goes that bottle of perfume again. I think maybe I'm supposed to work with this today. I'm going to set it there. I keep knocking it over and bumping it, so it wants my attention. My House 12 perfume. So I'll set it over there, see if that's better. All right, so yeah, so my notes are kind of really weird because, like I said, I was writing them with the intention to talk about spirit animals of the West, and ended up just talking more about the change of the seasons. So if you're new to a lot of this metaphysical stuff, you know, this is going to be new for you. If you're not new to it, it's probably going to be pretty basic and maybe a little boring, and I apologize, but I try to, you know, cover all the basics so that if somebody is watching this that has really never done any of this stuff, will kind of understand what I'm talking about. So there's 4 seasons, and there are 4 directions, and there are 4 elements. And so they all go together in a way. Well, they do go together. So, for example, summer goes with the south, which is fire. So that kind of makes sense, right? Summer's hot. The south is typically hot, and fire is typically hot. So that makes sense that those go together. So for autumn, fall, it goes with the west, which is the water season. So I was always a little confused about that because to me, I think water should be springtime, but spring is air, I think. I have to go back and check my chart. I've been learning this stuff for about a year now, but like I said, I forget stuff. So a lot of times I have to go back and check notes, and I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. But autumn is associated with the West, which is water. And again, that doesn't really seem quite right to me, because I guess spring seems like water to me because the snow is melting. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else, but anyway, autumn is west and water. And so I was going to talk about spare animals for the water, but then I kind of, like I said, it's kind of all over the place, so just bear with me. So water creatures are typically healers, and they are typically your anchor, kind of, so the grounding, anchoring, which kind of is a little weird because, again, grounding you would associate with earth. But some of the, sorry, my phone. Some of the sea animals are grounding as well. They're kind of that anchor. So they go down, they go deep beneath the surface, kind of thing. So think of it more as water than earth, I guess. So even though it's like it's keeping you grounded, it's water and not earth. That really probably doesn't make any sense because it's kind of confusing to me too. But think of it as the surface of the water, and the animals are kind of going down below. They're diving in, they're going deep, kind of things, instead of earth being grounded and going and keeping you grounded to the earth. You're going below the surface of the water. That was probably a horrible example, so I'm sorry, but like I said, my notes were kind of all over the place, and I apologize for that. But again, I thought I was going to talk about one thing, and then realized I wasn't really talking about that. So water can be associated with emotions. The zodiac signs that go with water are people who tend to be emotional people. They tend to be people that cry a lot, which is kind of the water sign part of it. And there's nothing wrong with crying. Sometimes I wish I could just cry and get things out and be done with it and release it, and I don't. I hold it up and keep it until it turns into anger. So again, water, crying, and being emotional is not a bad thing. But water is associated with emotions, so that goes back to soul and reflection and transformation and change. And autumn, we see that the change, as far as, like I said, we see the leaves changing color. We see the leaves falling. We see a lot of the plants dying down, which I always think is really sad. And I love it to know when they're going to come back. I love plants that I know are going to come back in the spring, and I feel very sad for the plants that are not going to come back, and like they're going to die, and that's going to be it for them. And sorry, I get emotional about plants. Go figure. But yeah, so again, I'm saying and I apologize. So water is very go with the flow. It can be very easygoing. It can kind of find its way around, the rocks and the crevices, and it's going to take the easiest path that it can find. And so that's kind of what autumn is supposed to kind of be about, is just kind of going with the flow, relaxing, kind of chilling out, kind of a thing. But it's not really like that for me anyway. I'm still very hectic and crazy and busy, but it's supposed to be a time that you would be starting to unwind and starting to get ready for your winter months, which are going to be your hibernation months, and your time for, deep rest and relaxation. So we're transforming into that. So we're going from the fiery months of summer, which were very hectic and crazy and busy and lots of energy and lots of stuff to do, to autumn, which is the water, which is more like we're still going, but we're not really going crazy. You know, we're just kind of going with the flow, going along for the ride kind of thing, to move into winter, which is our, I call it our bear season, the season of hibernating and getting in our little cave and snuggling up and just taking it easy for the whole winter. But autumn being the water is kind of what I was talking about, which I was going to talk, like I said, I was going to talk about water animals, but then it just didn't happen. So maybe that's another another discussion for another day. But water can be on the other side, because we're getting into our shadow season. And again, I just, like last night I watched a video. It was one of my classes, and my teacher Athena was really very, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, very, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, wanted to make sure everybody knew that shadow work is not like worshiping demons, worshiping the devil. It's not dark magic. It's not evil. It's not any of that. I did talk a little bit in another video about like what soul, shadow, and spirit, the definitions of those are. So you can go back and watch that video if you would like. But shadow work is not dark. It's not evil. We don't worship any demons, devils, evil spirits, nothing like that. Shadow work is your own personal shadow work. For me, it still is kind of going back to me, it's not exactly your wound, but for me, they happen to kind of overlap. They kind of are the same, on the same basis for me. My wound is all about not being good enough, and my shadow is being the kind of the critical judgy, and we talked about that the other day too, about it's good to have judgment, but not to be judgy. And I can sometimes be judgy, and I am really trying to be much, much better at that. I try to stop and, ask myself, like, do you know her story? Do you know what's going on with her? Do you know what might be happening in her life? And so I'm really working on that part of it, is when I feel myself being judgy, to step back in and again realize, why am I being judgy? And it's actually a reflection of myself. And the way I see it overlapping is my wound is about not being good enough, and being judgy by making other people, and it's a horrible thing, and that's why it's called shadow work, by making judgments on other people makes me feel better about myself, because now I'm not the one that's not good enough. She's the one that's not good enough, or he's the one that's not doing things good enough. Or do you see how that kind of goes together? So for me, they do overlap, and they're kind of one situation. For a lot of people, they're not necessarily the same. And again, you would need your natal chart. If you have your natal chart and you want help with it, certainly message me. I would love to help you. I think understanding my natal chart over the last, this is the 9th month I've been in my classes that we've been working on astrology and our natal charts, and it has made so much sense to me. It's really kind of freaky how accurate it is when I dive into it and actually read it and understand it, and it's like, yeah, that is exactly me. So my shadow work is that I can be overcritical. I can be judgy. And then with my other signs in places, I can be, my communication can be too bold. So being critical and then being too bold makes me a lot of times a bitch. And I try not to be. I try really hard not to be. I'm trying to be kind and spread kindness and help people and stuff, but it does pop out every now and then. And so the water aspect on that is that diving deep, going deep, really getting in there and getting down to the bottom. You know, we're down in the bottom of the ocean. It's dark. There's no light down there. If you're down under the water deep enough, there you can't see anything. It's dark. And so that's kind of where that water element comes into play here, is that it's the season of really diving deep and getting down there and dealing with things. And so some of the things that could come up for a lot of people in the autumn time, in the fall time, is you may start to feel depressed, or you may even feel fearful sometimes. Every once in a while, you just get that, like, you're afraid, but you don't really know why. It's usually a reflection back on yourself. So it's really fitting that our free gift, we get a free gift in our toolkit every month that I get. And the one that came this month is, oh look, there I am, is a mirror. And because a lot of the things that our shadow is a reflection of ourself. And so just kind of sit with it. You know, don't, obviously if you're afraid and you're in an unsafe situation, get yourself out of that situation. But if you're just feeling anxious or fearful or depressed, or even angry at this time of year, sit with it and really ask yourself where it's coming from. And it's super hard. It is super hard because, you know, I was trying to do this for the last couple of weeks. I'm like, I don't really know. And I was like, I'm not afraid of anything. And I'm like, I'm not sad. I'm not depressed. Anger can be an issue for me. And again, I know that was related to my wound. So I was like really having a hard time figuring out what my shadow was, until I took my class and pinpointed it and realized that it's all connected. So it can be a little bit of an overwhelming time, which again can be emotional and goes back to the water element. So that's pretty much it. I really do recommend, if you have not done your natal chart, do your natal chart, especially if you're struggling with stuff. If you are going, you know, I don't want to say going through things, because we all go through things. But if you have something that's kind of reoccurring, or that you can't let go of, or you just don't understand where these emotions are coming from, or these feelings are coming from, I really think it's super, super important to do your natal chart and to break it down. Now, when you break it down, usually the first things I tell people is break down your sun, your moon, and your rising, which is going to be kind of your core, I don't want to say core, is your primary things to look at in your natal chart. That's what most people go in and look at. So your sun sign is your birth sign. So that is your core being. That is like who you are and who you are to become. That's the ones you read your horoscopes about. Your rising sign, or can also be your ascendant sign, is how people first kind of see you, how you show up, your first impression. If you seem very happy and bubbly but that's not really your sign. So that's how you show up to people. That's how you appear to people. A friend of mine sent me her chart the other day, and her rising sign, her ascendant sign, was Virgo. And I said, that makes sense to me, because I've always kind of seen her as a driven, hardworking kind of a person. And so that's kind of what a Virgo is. But that's not her sign, but that's her rising sign. So that's like, if somebody said that to me, you know, what would you use to describe her? I'd say, yeah, she's a hard worker. She, you know, has a purpose, which is the Virgo part. So that is your rising. And then your moon sign is your subconscious, the way you kind of act when you're not thinking about how you're acting. So those are very important things to learn. But then after that, and the reason I say learn those 3 things first is because I don't want people to go super crazy and get overwhelmed and be like, look at this chart and be like, oh my God, there's so many things on here, I can't do it. I've dealt with things like that before. And so what I find is it's learn those 3 things. And then once you've got those 3 things down, then we'll go on to the other 3, which then I would recommend you learn about your Mars, Mercury, and your Venus. And then from there, you can break the chart down some more. And then I would recommend that you kind of get into your Chiron, your Saturn, and your Pluto, and break it down that way. So it's, if you break it down into little steps to learn, it's a little more, it's a little easier to understand and to take it all in. You don't want to put yourself on total overdrive either. Just to finish up real quick. So like I said, I had originally planned on talking about the water animals, but I did not end up talking about those, but I just did still want to kind of mention them to you. So squid is something you could work with over the next couple of months. Squid is definitely the creature that is definitely gone deep. Squids are usually, way down in the dark parts of the ocean. I mean, they do come up. They do. But they're associated. Squids are, usually what you think of in the deep sea. But on a little lighter side, if you wanted, you could work with seal. You could work with otter, whale, dolphin, and another one that people don't always tend to think of, which is a really good one to work with, but I guess it's just not a super glamorous or cute or anything, so people, I guess, kind of maybe don't work with it so much, but it's salmon. Salmon are obviously a water animal because they're a fish, but they are very, very driven. They work off instinct. They are very intuitive. They are very determined. So, they have a lot of really good features. That's not what I really want to say, but again, drawing a blank on my words this morning. I'm totally drawing a blank on the word that I need. I do this sometimes, sorry. It's not features. That's not what I want to say. Characteristics. That's what they have a lot of really good characteristics that you might want to work with, that might resonate with you. So people, again, don't think about it. People, a lot of people love whales and they love the seals and the otters and the dolphins because they're all, cute or pretty or lovable or, and so, but salmon has definitely got a lot of really good characteristics. And squid is something you're going to work with if you really do want to just kind of dive in and go deep. So that's pretty much it. Just wanted a couple things to go over quick for the calendar before we're back on Tuesday. Is tomorrow is Friday the 13th, and it is also a full moon. So gonna get a little crazy out there. I'm somebody who works as customer service at my muggle job, and I answer a lot of phones. So today and tomorrow and even kind of Monday and Tuesday of next week, I can pretty much expect all the crazies to call. They're going to be angry. They're going to have really weird questions. They're going to be very demanding, and that's going to come out. I have some friends that work in ER situations in hospitals and nurses and stuff, and they're like, yeah, this time of year, full moons are super crazy in an ER. So try to keep your crazy down. Keep your crazy in balance during the full moon. And yeah. And Friday the 13th is not a bad day. You know, the movie Friday the 13th, I think, is where a lot of that stemmed from. And now everybody's like, oh, Friday the 13th, bad things are going to happen. It's a bad day. It's really not. It's a power day. It's a 13 is a number of the goddess. So it's really not a bad, scary day. But people associate it that way. And I've already seen a million posts on Facebook about it being the full moon and Friday the 13th, and how people are all kind of freaked out. So, but not so much the 13th, Friday the 13th part, but the full moon definitely does bring out some crazies sometimes. So that is that for today. I will get a picture of the card up for you guys on the group. If I think of it, maybe, not that you guys want to see my earrings, but maybe I'll grab my earrings to put in here for the picture of the lepidolite for you. Did want to show you real quick, and I do have to go because I have a million things to do this morning, is these are definitely not pretty. So don't be judgy. But I made some incense. And so I took the herbs, I put them in my little mortar and pestle, and ground them up. And I put some essential oils. I put some honey in there to kind of give it that sticky bond. And now I've just had them here setting and drying. And they're still it's been a couple of days, and they're still a little wet. So I set them on this card to kind of absorb some of the moisture as they dry. And then once they dry, I can put them on a charcoal disc and burn them. I didn't want to make them too big, but I still think they're too big, because like to burn that on a charcoal disc is going to be a lot of incense. Because these are the actual herbs. There's no like just added powder or filler or anything like that. So I could actually probably break that in like thirds and burn it that way. But and that's some of the things we might get into next year as well. A lot of you have said that you're interested in doing some crafting as well as the chakras. So my plan is to try to pick a chakra for the month. So for example, January, we would be working on the Earth Star chakra, and then we would work on crystals that would be related with that. We'd work on herbs that would be related to that. We would work on essential oils that would be related to that. We might do a craft with those things. So I'm going to try to, make it all kind of go together. This year, we've been talking about the holidays and things of that sort, and the seasons. So next year we're going to talk, about chakras, a lot of chakra stuff. Again, quick, I'm going to run out of time. I'm going to be late. I'm always late because I always want to just stay here with you guys all day. I've told you guys a million times that I don't do tarot cards. And for the class I'm taking, one of the homework assignments needed, yes, I have homework, needed tarot cards. And I had shown you guys, I think that I just printed some and tried to use them off paper. But it was really, really hard for me to work with them and shuffle them and really make a connection with them, I guess. So I did go on Amazon and buy a deck. And it is called Tarot de la Nuit, which is, and I probably said that totally wrong because I'm not French, but it's Tarot of the Night. And I just wanted to quick show you guys some of the lighting is horrible as usual. But I just wanted to show you guys some of the imagery of this deck. It is really, like totally amazing. So if you want to learn tarot and you want to go buy a deck, I would highly recommend this. It is a little bit on the darker side, which I like. I like the darker imagery. It is definitely not fairies. There are a million decks out there. There are angel decks, there are fairy decks, there are animal decks. You can get, you know, colorful decks. You can get watery color, you know, that are very purples and pinks. All kinds of stuff. But yeah. Oh, this one. Look at this one. Isn't that amazing? So, just if you want to get a deck. I keep hearing car doors and stuff outside. I don't know what's going on up there. But if you're interested in a deck, like I said, it is Tarot de la Nuit. And again, don't know if I'm saying that correctly or not, but it's Tarot of the Night. And the cards are not in French. I was worried about that. I was worried that I was going to get them and the cards were going to be in French. They are not in French. So I got to go. I love you guys. Have an amazing day. I will see you guys all back here on Tuesday. The plan is to talk about Virgo. And then on Thursday, we're going to talk about Mabon. And then I don't know what we're going to go from there, but if you guys have questions, comments, let me know. If you're looking for chakra information, anything like that, let me know. If you want a card reading, I can still do the oracle readings for you. I'm not going to offer any tarot readings yet because I haven't learned it enough to offer it to anybody. It's going to be probably quite a while before that will happen. I don't want to be doing readings if I'm not comfortable with it. So, I don't want to just learn the cards just to learn the cards to read them to you. I want to really be able to read the cards. So, all right, with that, I got to go. We'll do the watch party at 7. So I will try to figure out how to invite everybody to be on there, and I will be on there with you so I can answer any questions or, reply to your comments and things. Have a great day. Remember to be kind. Remember to spread kindness all around. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and it's really going to improve your day, by being kind instead of being angry and judgy. To spread kindness instead of the anger and the judgment. It's really going to improve your day. But again, it's always going to improve somebody else's day and possibly even their lives. So a couple of kind words from you could potentially change someone's life. That's pretty powerful. Have an awesome day. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. Bye.